All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Misty Tripoli, and I'm super excited because we're doing this again. Give you a chance to meet my mom and listen to some very deep wisdom and some really interesting and powerful information for what's going on right now. My mom is Wendy Cicchetti. She is a world-renowned astrologer and is now a master in the Akashic Records. And we're really excited also, just so you guys know, just hang on to the very end, because at the end, she's going to be doing an Akashic reading for this call and for us today. So hang on for that. And we'll finish up the call with that. But the reason why we're doing this is because there's just like, we all know right now, we're all like, what the is going on right now? And anyone that's really paying attention, we start to notice that, like, we hear like about timelines and things are going to happen by this, and this is what this is. And if you're like me, you've probably gotten a lot of confusing messages. So, and also there's lots of other questions. So we've received lots of questions from you guys out there, things that you want answered about what's going on right now. So we're going to try to get through all of these questions for you guys by the end of this call. So this first question, Mom, Miss Wendy, is what's happening with timing right now, and why do we seem to be getting mixed messages?
Okay, that's a really good question, because astrologers can pinpoint energies. We can tell you what the energies are, what they mean. We can tell you what happened in the past when those energies were in play. And the last video I did with you in July, I went into that timing of the energies that are in play now that were in play clear back, in the 1930s and 40s. Now, we can pinpoint the energies, but we can't pinpoint the timing, because there are so many things that affect the timing. So I can say, okay, this is going to be a bad day, which is true. The energies might be really terrible, but it doesn't mean something is going to happen that day. Okay, it's just be cautious. And the reason we can't pinpoint the timing is because it has to do with your choices. Things that can really impact timing are choices, prayer, intervention and help from the other realms, and information we assimilate, from the media, from politics, and even information from nature. All of those things mitigate what will actually happen at any given time. The other thing that's talked about all the time are timelines. We have the biblical timelines from Revelations, that say all of these things that different people interpret different ways. But we can also influence those timelines by our beliefs, by our intentions, by our visualizations, visualizing what we want the world to be, and uniting with many other light workers and people to combine your prayers, combine your energies. This has a huge effect. Now, in all of my research on timelines, other than the biblical one, there are other timelines that have been talked about, but all of them are up for grabs right now and depend on us. Free will is huge. And what we choose to do with our thinking and our actions will affect the timelines. Okay, now, things are going to be going on whether you know about them or not. Mainstream media doesn't report a lot of the stuff that's going on in Europe, and it doesn't report a lot of the stuff that their upper level people maybe don't want us to hear. And so they don't report on them. But know that there is a lot going on under the surface that we don't see, okay? And so you can be aware that these changes are happening. Major shifts are underway, and more will be happening soon, whether you hear about them or not, okay? That's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we know clearly that we're not told everything that's happening.
Right.
And what we're told is also questionable.
Well, and things are happening too on various levels. not just one level that we can see, but there are angelic realms where things are happening. There are under the surface realms where plutonic or scorpionic things are happening, and we don't see all of that, but it's going on. Okay.
Yeah, whether we see it or not. Okay, so
Right.
our next question is, I hear several planets are changing from retrograde to direct motion. What does that mean for us?
Okay. Well, October is kind of a strange month in that regard because 3 planets went direct during this month, okay? And 2 of them are pretty heavy hitters. We have Saturn went direct on the 10th, Pluto went direct on the 6th, Jupiter went direct on the 17th, and today Mercury goes direct. Okay?
Can you explain what goes direct means?
Yes. Retrograde action is when the planet appears to be going backwards. And what happens when that happens is the energies build up, okay? They're not released yet. It's like they build in intensity, build in energy. And so when they turn direct, and this is all a visual thing, it's not something that actually happens where they're moving forward and then they're moving backward. It has to do with the perspective of the planets based on our rotation around the sun and their rotation around the sun. So it's an energetic thing. And so all the planets except the sun and the moon have retrograde cycles where they appear to be going in reverse. Okay, so when they slow down and then start moving forward after being going retrograde, then things start to move. Okay, things start to progress. However, this month is different because Saturn goes slow and Pluto goes slow and Jupiter goes slower, and so they're still going slow. They may not, Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter aren't going to be really moving rapidly and comfortably for maybe as long as 2 months, 3 months. And then things will start to move. So basically what's happened with these retrogrades is we're being put on notice that change is happening, but we're at a standstill. We're still at a standstill, and everybody can kind of feel that. Now, the planet that doesn't take a long time is Mercury, and Mercury is the fastest moving planet that there is. And so even though it's gone direct today, it will be not until after the 25th before it's moving rapidly enough to be comfortable. So we're not getting all the chaos with, travel and delays and computer glitches and all of that kind of thing, okay? So that's what makes this month a little different. And now there are other things too, okay? Let me see make sure I get my notes right here.
Can I quick ask you something about that? Just some clarification. So we've got these several big daddy planets that move slow, that have been in retrograde. They're moving direct, but they're slow moving planets. So what does that mean for us when they actually go direct? They're direct now, but you mean once they actually start really getting moving in a couple of months, what does this mean for us? Big changes? Like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, well, yes, it means change is coming. The energy that builds up with them when they're going slow, that energy keeps building, okay?
Yeah.
Even while they're going slow, and it doesn't start to release until they're moving forward comfortably. Okay.
And what are the energies of those planets that will be coming? Like, what is it that we should be, what is it that?
We know that Pluto is all about death and rebirth, and Pluto in Capricorn, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. We're going to go into a little more about what's still going on with Pluto in Capricorn, because it's going to be there till the end of 2024. It won't complete its work until then. With Jupiter, thank goodness, Jupiter, because it's going direct and it moves faster than Saturn and Pluto. And that's going to be helpful to help ameliorate the difficulty with the other malefic planets. So those are good. And we're going to talk a little bit Pluto is going to just kind of be at a standstill for a while. Slow, slow, slow. Saturn is faster, but still slow. So it's going to be November, December. And the other thing that's important about this is that during the retrograde of Mercury, Mercury is about communication, and it is impacting or in a square to Pluto, 3 times this month. And what that means is communication about what Pluto energy is. And that's what's really interesting, because Pluto energy represents death and rebirth. It represents power struggles and communication. It represents power plays, okay? Stuff going on, dark stuff under the surface. And Mercury keeps impacting that, which means, okay, we're going to communicate about what we see, about what's going on with Plutonic information and energy. Okay, so there's that. And of course, that's at a direct degree right now, which is Pluto is at 24 degrees. So every time Mercury hits that 24 degrees, it's impacting, and it does it 3 times within a year. So anyway, that's what's going on with that right now. But I want to talk to you more about, too, as they gather power, when they move forward and faster, then they start to trigger action. Okay, so one of the big things that's happening now is, now that Saturn's gone direct, it's moving closer to that square with retrograde Uranus. And that's the big, huge one that has created all the chaos for the last period of time, which has made everything polarized. It's made, it's the difference between control and freedom, the difference between the old and the new, the difference between being stuck and feeling freed. And the great polarization that's going on the planet. That's the Saturn-Uranus square. And folks, by Christmas Eve, there's the 3rd exact square of those 2 planets on Christmas Eve. So again, the energy is building, building, building. It's going to be really interesting. Once again, we know stuff's going to happen. We can't pinpoint exactly. You may not hear about it, but trust me, there's stuff going on several fronts. Okay. Now, okay, let's see. I can't read my own writing. Oh, okay. It's accelerating chaos and disruption. Okay. Now, with the square to Pluto, I said power struggles in thinking and communication and power plays in general being hatched. Fortunately, also, Mercury is trine Jupiter twice this month, which is really good because it brings optimism and hope. And so it helps with the harder energies. Pluto and Saturn are hard energies. Uranus, hard energies, okay? So this is helpful. I love Jupiter because it's so optimistic and so about progress and freedom, and that's the stuff we need to help ameliorate these difficult ones. Okay, now Venus moved into the sign of Sagittarius on the 7th. Which is also positive and helps us with our search for the ideal solutions, ideal fixes to create something lasting and beneficial. And solutions may come in unexpected ways from different directions. So don't think we're going to know exactly where all of this stuff is going to come from. A lot of it's just going to be out of the blue, people pulling it out of their arse, to try and make things work. And so, the stuff coming from different directions, it's time for us to find common ground. Remember, Saturn says no, but Jupiter says yes. And so it's coming to that balance so that we can have win-win possibilities. Okay, and that's what we're after. Find the common ground. Now, there's lots of Pluto energy, and this is, I can go on with this. Is there another question? What's
Well,
your next?
they might tie in together, because it's
Okay.
saying that we seem to be in a dilemma of extremes. Where's that coming from? So that might be tying in this information that you're giving now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically answered. It's the Uranus-Saturn square. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where that's coming from. So,
And also, what is happening with the Mercury retrograde?
okay, well, we talked some about that. Okay, that it's impacting the Pluto energy, and it's aligning with Mars. And that's what's really, really powerful. We have Mercury, Mars square Pluto this month. Now, what is Mars about? It's about our aggressive forward action. It's about our anger, our impatience, our impulsiveness, okay? And when you take that and put it in aspect to Pluto, it's like explosions, so many things have been announced this month. I mean, when you think about it, really harsh things have happened this month, and it's putting people in a tailspin. And so the Mars adds to the type of energy that comes from Pluto. So lots of Plutonic energy going on, plans beneath the surface, power plays, lies, subterfuge, playing politics and games with the people. With Mercury retrograde, it has kept triggering the Pluto energies again and again, and they're hard, and there's a full moon on Wednesday.
Yeah, that was the next question.
Oh,
Someone asked, Wednesday there's a full moon in Aries. Is it significant?
And I laugh because, okay, what's Aries energy? All right. Aries is impulsive, impatient. It's blast off energy. I think of William Shatner. It's going where no one has gone before, and Aries doesn't wait for anybody or anything, it just needs to push forward. Well, this particular moon is an Aries moon, but it's conjunct, the sun is conjunct Mars, and it's squared Pluto. So it is a powerful full moon. Now, I try and tell people that the new moon and the full moon are basically just like triggers. They don't last very long. Remember that the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So on that day, Wednesday, these are going to be aggressive energies. How will it play out? We don't know. But those energies, the moon's energies really, because they're so close to the earth, they impact our emotional bodies. They impact us mentally and emotionally. So with this Mars, Sun, Moon conjunct or square to Pluto, we're all feeling maybe a little more aggressive. Okay, there might be people that lash out more, and so just be careful, be cautious. But it is powerful, truly powerful. Now the other one is Venus squares Neptune. Now, Venus is, we're searching for the ideal. We're searching for harmonious answers. And square Neptune, Neptune is fuzzy thinking. It's like water like the ocean. How far can you see in there? Things are fuzzy, all right? So confusion and lack of knowing what's really happening. Isn't that what everybody's feeling right now? Is that fantasy thinking of, oh my gosh, somebody's going to save us? No, they're not. And through the end of the month, we're not really going to know what's happening. So don't expect to get those answers. Question everything. Question everything, from government, from religion, from business, everything. Question it all. And on the 30th, Mercury is in hard aspect to Neptune also. which means we just don't know. We don't have all the facts. So we're going through this process of trying to figure out what's really going on. And everybody's, scratching really what's happening, okay? Because so much is going on away from our visibility because the media doesn't cover it. So no one can know, even if they say, we know what's going on. No, they don't. This is not a time for that type of clarity. There will be resolution, okay? But it's not going to be for a while. So what you have to do is, as we're waiting for win-win choices, you have to prepare, and you have to control yourself, control your thinking. So do you have another?
I do. And yes, control our thinking. And I also have this other, when you say question everything, because that's such a huge thing. And to question with an actual skeptical mind. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, really? Uh-huh. Prove it to me. Like, let me look under, that kind of thing, instead of just questioning, but really question what it is that we're being told and taught and shown, and really, like, with a skeptical mind, no matter what it is, it can be any whatever, but I think having a little bit of skepticism in everything, because the powers that be have a history and a track record, and they're not great. And they're not great. They don't have our best interest in mind.
No, they don't.
And that's the truth. That was a huge hit for me in my life when I realized that, when it was like, oh, wow, these people actually don't care about me. Like, and I've trusted these people and believed them and put my faith in this and whatever it might be. And wow, they actually don't have my best interest in mind. And that's an important thing. Okay. Can you do a recap of the current challenging and helpful energies? You've kind of done that. Sounds like Jupiter is really helpful. Okay.
There are more. Okay. Let's look at those. I'm going to do a quick review. Now remember, those of you who are listening, the video that I did with Misty in July, I go into more depth into these things, but I'm going to do just a quick one to let you know what's still in play. It hasn't gone away, okay? The energies are still there. So these are powerful energies, and they are relentless energies, okay? All right, so first of all, we have Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. What this means is breaks in the supply chain, issues of shortages, and shortages of money. Now, what are we seeing all over the world? Breaks in the supply chain, okay? And of course, this happened back in the 30s. Then we have Pluto in Capricorn. And this one is really, really critical to understand. Capricorn represents big business, big money, big religion, big government, the school systems, all of this control stuff. And so Capricorn job is to deconstruct this stuff so we can reconstruct it. That's Saturn's job, or Pluto's job, is to deconstruct what is no longer working. So it represents the death of the old and the birth of the new. So the deconstruction is going on, the deconstruction of structure as we know it, okay? And the new structure will be put into play. It may not really come together until Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius in late 2024. And then when it gets into Aquarius, it means freedom. Now in Pluto, it's control, okay? And domination. In Aquarius, it's more freedom oriented. It's more innovation, all of these good things. So once Pluto's done its job to deconstruct the stuff that doesn't work any longer, then Pluto moves into Aquarius, and then we're going to start making some substantial headway. All right, then we have, and this is the one that just always blows my mind, because it's so right on. And that's Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Now, for people who are awake and conscious, this is very helpful energy, okay, for conscious spiritual awakening and growth, which is vital right now. I mean, that's really vital. But on the challenge side, it has to do with collective insanity and the savior complex. Just do what we tell you and we're going to save you. Yeah, wrong. Just do what we say. And of course, it isn't working that way. So then, of course, the big one, which I talked about before, which is Saturn square Uranus. This is the push for freedom and the collapse of structure around the globe, not just in one country or another. It's the world, okay? We will be feeling this for many years to come, and Christmas Eve is going to be real interesting. And so there's revolt going on all over the world, even if you don't see it. You might try some alternative news outlets where you're going to see a lot more. I really like the one with Crystal and Sager. What's it called? Breaking Points. And they really are very honest and have the facts. They're not just opinion. Okay, and they're reporting on the stuff that's really going on around the world. So and this is the important thing, all of these energies represent what's coming into you, not coming from you. All of these energies from Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter and Neptune, all of this stuff are energies impacting us directly. Now, as they come into you, it's your responsibility to integrate them and use them wisely. And that's what people don't understand, is that when that energy comes in that may be fearful or may be difficult, you know, how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to give your power away to it? Are you going to become, you know, triggered by everything? Instead of using that energy for creative solutions, or are you using it to create more problems? But it's up to each one of us individually, you know? So these energies are going to keep coming into you. Like I said, they're relentless. What are you going to do with them? You know,
and it's so easy to give way to them, especially with what's going on in the world. And it elevates it, and it can cripple you. It can literally stunt you and cripple you. And it's, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? It's your choice. It's all about the free will concept. This is all about you. You know, happiness too is an inside job. You think, oh, I can't be happy when all of this is going on. That's nonsense. I'm going to be happy in spite of it.
Happiness comes from here, okay? So you fill your day with things that you enjoy, that make you happy, instead of listening to mainstream media and ramping up the fear and the lies and the crap in your head, okay? Go into your heart and soul, read beautiful things, be in nature, help other people. So many things you can do to make you happy. And instead of being involved in the third dimensional vitriol, which keeps your frequency low, keeps your intuition hard to get, because all of it's just low frequency. You want to be up here, you know, where you get the answers more easily, okay?
All right. That's the ultimate, like what I say, the ultimate thing is you managing your inner world. How do you manage it? That's really your only job.
Yep.
So it's your initial premier job, is that you just got to manage your inner world, what's happening. And that's why it's great to have this information, to know what kind of energies are coming at us. They aren't us. We don't have to identify that that's who we are. It's just coming through us and it's impacting us. And then what are we going to do about it? Like, okay, I'm aware now. I'm aware that I might have a little bit more aggression this month, or because of this energy. Wow, when I start to feel aggressive, what am I going to do? Let me make a plan. Let me just know I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a deep breath and know that this isn't me. This is something that's coming through me temporarily. Everything's going to be all right. It's like literally sometimes, like what I do is it's like talking to a child. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And like what you always said to me, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
this too shall pass. Like
Yeah.
everything comes to pass. And so just allowing it to move through you without it stealing your joy and stealing your energy and stealing your, you know, your precious mind and time and attention. So yeah, I think this is a really important one.
Well, I do too. And pay attention to your impulsive response patterns. What gets you triggered? What creates hostility in you? Make a list of those things so that when they happen, you go, oh, okay, not doing that anymore. You got to bring it to your attention, bring it to your focus, and then you go, I'm being triggered. I'm out of there, not doing it anymore. So it's really up to you. Now, Pluto, as we've talked about, represents death and rebirth. Now, Pluto is moving into a conjunction with the Pluto position when we created this country, okay? Pluto was in a specific place. And now Pluto has come back to what's called a Pluto return. Now, all of the planets except the sun and moon have returns, okay? And so Pluto is impacting the natal Pluto in the chart of the U.S. Constitution, the U.S. government, when it was created. And what that means is death and rebirth, the death of the old country, the birth of the new. And what are we seeing, those of us here in the United States? We're seeing tremendous decline in the credibility of the United States. Tremendous decline. And a lot of that has to do with Pluto. Pluto's job, get rid of what isn't working and create something that does. And so we're actually seeing that playing out right in front of us. And instead of getting upset about it, go, thank you, God, for creating something new that's a win-win to take its place. You know, and that's the way we need to be thinking. All right.
And visualizing how we want it to be.
Exactly. So in any return that goes on, we have Saturn returns, and we have, all of the planets return, Uranus return, which I'm going through, which has to do with changing everything, you know. So pay attention to those energies, especially as you watch what's happening in the world. All of the planets have a return cycle. The outer or slower planets returns are very infrequent because they go so slow, but very significant when they do occur. See, Pluto takes almost 250 years to go around the zodiac. So it went around, and there was a Pluto return for our country. Pluto was in Capricorn during the period of time for the American Revolution when we left England. It was also, Pluto was in Capricorn during the time of Martin Luther. And I'm trying to think of what they call that. But when religion started to change and people became freer from the religious domination. Okay, another question.
Well, this is going to be the last one, but I think you kind of already answered it before we get to have your Akashic message for the day. It is, how can we stay prepared? But I think you kind of talked a little bit about this, if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Okay. Mental preparedness is as important as physical preparedness. You've got to have your head straight. You can't be reactionary and triggered and in vitriol, because then the choices that you make are not going to be effective and helpful. So you need to keep your mind straight. You need to stay close to the God of your understanding. You need to recognize that prayers work, and to pray not only for yourself, but to pray for the world in general. Now, what's happened is that fear has been used as a weapon to make us more susceptible to manipulation. So fear has been weaponized, all right? You need to be at peace and recognize where that fear is coming from, okay? You have a relationship, and if you don't, you should be establishing one with the God of your understanding. and working to keep your connectedness strong so you get good intuition, you get good information. You know, that to me is critical. And so don't let the crazy, messed up, and fearful energies of other people to steal your power. And that's what's happening all over the world. People are allowing it, thinking it's really real, and they let it steal their power. And it keeps them tied down into the third dimensional reality. You want to get out of that, you know? And when you become aware enough so that when you feel it, you go, oh, okay, I'm doing that again, not going to do that anymore. But it has to become visible in your mind for you to really see it and do something about it, okay? So maintain your inner power and strength. Do not give it away to other people's agenda. You know, and don't let it control you. That's really the big thing. So October is huge disruption, chaos, and descent, as we are all seeing. So if you want to hear this lovely message.
Yes, but before you do that, because we don't know if there's people here that this is their first time tuning into something like this, can you really quick, before you give the Akashic message, can you just quickly, briefly, what is the Akashic Records, like the importance of it, this kind of thing? Just a quick brief so that people have a little background of what they are.
Okay, the Akashic Records are the history of not only the universe, but they're the history of every person ever born from the inception of their soul to where they are currently. All their past lives, all the thoughts, the actions, the deeds of everyone. And I know that sounds fantastical when you think about it, but it's really true. And through learning how to access the realm of the Akashic, that ethereal realm, we can get answers for our lives, we can get help for our lives, we can get information about past lives and how they're impacting your life now. And so the masters and the teachers and the loved ones that actually administer this realm of the Akashic are happy to give you information if you ask them. And so I decided that I would do an Akashic message kind of for the world right now to see what they had to say. And I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to read that to you now. And by the way, I do teach the ability to access the records. I teach the protocols. So if this is something that interests you, you can email me and I'll let you know when the next classes are available. Misty's
I'm actually in the middle of one of the courses and I love it. And the part about it I love it the most is reconnecting me to the God of my understanding and really reconnecting me to prayer and the power of my own intention and how critical the connection to whatever the God of your understanding is, because this ain't all for nothing. Like right. We exist and we don't know how we all got here or whatever, how that's all possible, but something magical made that happen. Right. So I'm just, it's awesome. So any of you guys out there that are interested, I highly recommend it. I'm halfway in, I got a couple more weeks left. And yeah, so you can email my mom, the information will be in the links, but wait till you listen to the message that she got that came through her.
Okay, here we go. Albeit critical for truth to prevail, nothing can be fixed if it lies in the shadows. Exposure is necessary for the progress that is needed at this time on Earth. We are watching and facilitating where possible. Free will is an imperative that must be maintained. Use it wisely. Join with as many working with the light and concentrating their efforts to bring equality and justice, and work to lift others up and elevate all into a higher frequency of living. There are traps and chains all around and must be avoided. Fear is a trap as is hatred, rage, and anger. Watch yourselves that you discipline your emotions and control your actions so as not to give away your power to negative agendas. Stay in your power. Stay close to your families and light-filled friends and allies. Listen to the whisperings of spirit to keep you informed and safe. We send love and know that great positive change is happening. Stay focused and believe. The changes that are in progress will benefit all mankind. And that's it.
Bam. Can I get an amen?
Yeah. No, I loved it. And it's always fun to see how these things, turn out. When it came up with albeit, I went, I don't even really know what that means. I had to look it up.
And that happens all the time when you work with the Akashic Records. You're like,
it does.
What word is this?
Stuff comes up and you go, what? But I love it because it helps to keep us centered and aware. And these beings from the other side, the other realms, are doing everything they can to help us and inspire us to make better choices. We're all loved, we're all valued, whether we're conscious or whether we're not, doesn't mean that we're less valued. It's just they might need to work a little harder if we're not conscious.
Right. Well, the thing is, it's also about allowing that help and creating that space. And that's why, like, the Akashic Records and learning that is creating a practice of actually tuning into that to receive it. It's not like you're just going to be like, la, la, la. And, when we're busy with our thoughts and watching social media and we're all into this and this, we're not creating the space for that information to come. And so having practices are super, super important. And also faith in knowing that someone gave me an analogy one time that was just one of the best, and it may sound really goofy and really funny, but it works for me. And it was this analogy of like your prayers, a lot of people say, give it to God or whatever it might be. And someone gave this visual to me that was like, just imagine that heaven is filled with all these amazing helpers, like, Santa's workshop. And they're all just waiting with everything they have for you to ask for help so that they can help you with everything that you need. And they're workers up there just waiting for you to ask. Right. And allow it to happen. But they're eagerly, like, the help is there, the information's there. It's just creating a space in your life, in your body, in your mind, in your soul, just so that you can receive the information and you can create that dialogue and that conversation and that, right? So practice is a huge part of that. And
recently I listened to a speech that was given by Denzel Washington. I've always loved him. He's a great soul. And one of the points that he brought up is, don't mistake movement for progress. That is so important. We're trying to stay organized, and we clean the house, and we cook our meals, and we shuffle paper, and we take our phone calls, and we do our email. That is not progress.
That's the hamster wheel.
Movement, right? So you need to commit to a daily practice. That's what's going to make progress for you, not the movement.
Yep. And the greatest investment you can make is in yourself and in your inner world. Like, that's your number one most important investment priority is your inner world and how you feel and what's going on in that inner world. And because that controls everything outside of you. That's how that's how you're going to respond to everything in your life, depending on what's going on in your inner world and what's taking the power and the control. So I just, whatever you do, create those practices. And for me, it's like building practice. I have to sit and meditate. No, you don't. Like, it's not that. It's about creating an authentic, unique practice for yourself that works for you. If it's walking in the park, if it's just sitting on a stump and picking your nose, like, who cares? As long as it's a moment for just nothingness or whatever that might be, where your brain you can stop trying to analyze everything and it can just be at rest, and you can actually commune with something, whatever it is created you, whatever it is that made all this, whatever it is that, like you said, the God of your understanding. But it requires a practice. It requires some form of, this is devoted to this with intention.
Yeah.
And
commitment
intention.
And consistency. commitment, and consistency. And then you're going to raise your frequency, and you're going to get information and intuition much easier than when you're in fear and anger and all of that stuff. So join with other like-minded people, okay? Join prayer vigils for the planet. Our combined energy is more powerful than you can imagine. We are all here on this planet right now because we chose it to be here to help what was going to happen. Okay? That's why we're all here. And so align with like-minded people every day during your practice. Send light out around the globe. See yourself holding hands with like-minded people all around, lining up all around the planet. And another thing that I feel is very important, and this kind of makes me cry, pray for the children. There is so much going on with the intention of destroying our children. And a lot of people don't understand that. You don't hear about it in the media, but it's truth. Pray that our children will be protected. These young souls that have come into the planet at this time are here to help save us. If their brains are destroyed, if their bodies are destroyed, then and the parents are worrying about how they're going to take care of their children, how can they do what they were intended to come here to do? So include the children in your prayers. I think that's very, very important right now. Sorry, I'm such a boob sometimes.
Yes. No, you're a boob all the time, Mom. But that's why we love you. No, I'm used to Mom crying, listening to Christmas carols, and I got it. It's you, Mom. Okay. It's awesome. Star Spangled Banner. I remember many times. But okay, so Mom, thank you for your time. And you guys, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you guys got some information that can, help you along the way, and especially at these times. Share with your friends, share this video with your friends, anyone that you think that might benefit from this message. And again, you can also contact my mom directly. Her email, Wendy at twitchearthandsky.com, Wendy Cicchetti. Yeah. But we'll put it in the link because it's a long one, but we'll put it in there. You can contact her directly. You can even just ask her questions directly. Yeah. Don't, just like, she's not an off limits person. She's super open. She loves to answer your questions and help you along the way, and has so many tools and resources and things available to you to help you help yourself. This is the thing that's important. It's not about, she can give you the tools, but these tools are ultimately to help you help yourself. And that's the most powerful thing. So, and she also does amazing astrology readings. If you would like to know how that ties in for you and how the planets are lined up for you. Yeah, affecting you personally. Exactly. So all that information is in this video, and we will be doing these again. So once we get some more questions, please feel free to submit questions. And when we get another handful of questions, we'll do another video. So hopefully your question will be answered there. So thanks, Mom. Thanks for your time. Thanks, everybody.
Blessings to everybody.
And let's look for Christmas, December 24th. Let's see.
December 24th.
All right. Awesome, Mom. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.